On August 23rd, residents in the Home Park area applied to the Ministry of Natural Resources for provisional approval to subdivide the area known as Hangar. They essentially wanted to convert the public road to private property after numerous complaints about the way visitors have been utilizing the area. The application lists several proprietors' names, including Louis Leslie, Henry C. Fairweather, GRD Holdings Limited, Kenneth Clifton Fairweather, Nicholas Hastings. The client names on the application are Alan McNabb, Jules Vasquez, Managing Director of 7 News, Louis Leslie, and Michael Fields. The names Michael Fields, Alan McNabb, Diraj Nandwane of GRD Holdings Limited, and Jules Vasquez are also featured prominently on a 2022 petition requesting that the Belize City Council close public access to the seafront area. That petition was initially denied. In compliance with the Land Utilization Act, the subdivision application was submitted along with a detailed plan. And according to that plan, the hangar would be divided into 5 sections. One allocated to GRD Holdings, another to Louis Leslie, a portion for McNabb, a parcel for Fields, and finally, at the far end, a section designated for Jules Adrian Vasquez. A highly connected source within the Ministry of Natural Resources provided News 5 with details of the application, including details of the individual applications. And each application repeatedly points to the fact that these residents intended to use the subdivision for residential purposes. Importantly, each applicant authorized Diraj Nandwani of Nando's Wholesale to act as their representative in connection with a request to purchase the parcel of land owned by the government of Belize located in front of their respective properties. So we reached out to the Chief Executive Officer in the Ministry of Natural Resources to find out about the status of that application, because granting provisional approval would likely spell the end of Hangar as a public road stripped away from access to ordinary Belizeans. Well, CEO Thompson confirmed that the application was submitted with the hope that it would be before the Land Submission and Utilization Authority. But according to Thompson, the application never made it that far because he said it was, quote, instantaneously deemed a non-starter. Thompson reasoned that applications to subdivide can only be made by the legal landowner, in this case, the government of Belize. So why was the application met with instantaneous disapproval and not elevated to the authority, when according to Section 10 of the Act, the authority must receive all applications for subdivision to do their investigation? Who made that call? Today, residents living along the seafront area issued a press release explaining why they applied to have the hangar subdivided. The release references long-standing concerns such as safety, environmental, and quality of life issues. The release also points to severe coastal erosion and rising sea levels, leading to street flooding. These residents say that if no action is taken, the sea will reach their front gates within the next 7 years. The release explains that after the 2022 City Council rejection, residents came together and decided to subdivide and acquire the land directly in front of their properties with the intent to invest in the reconstruction of the seawall and responsibly manage the area. But here's what we're asking. Who exactly are those residents? Which households signed on? And do they represent all seafront residents on St. Luke, St. John, and St. Edward Streets, or only a subset? When did the City Council reject the first proposal in 2022, and on what grounds? What does subdivide and acquire the land directly in front of these properties mean in practice? Freehold transfer, lease, license, or easement? How many parcels and total square footage or meters were proposed? But why not simply invest in the upgrading of the seawall for the greater good, instead of proposing to subdivide the hangar? And what about coming together to invest in increased security features within the area? Even more interesting, the failed 2022 petition was once again brought before the council after the subdivision proposal was reportedly shut down. This time it got the support of the Belize Police Department with a letter written by former Commissioner of Police Chester Williams. The council approved the petition this time around and blocked off the hangar to vehicular access. When we reached out to Belize City Mayor Bernard Wagner today, he said, "We acted on the request of residents who make their home in the area, and that was done through a petition. Our action was to limit access to the area only by foot. That is the extent of our action." When we asked him if he is aware of the request for subdivision, he said, "I have no knowledge of this." But would Mayor Wagner support a move to put the hangar into the hands of private landowner? We asked him, and he said, "Those sorts of requests and undertakings has been requested in the past by many residents. And on some occasions, based on circumstances, we have allowed. I believe we will see more of such requests in the future. Personally, I am prioritizing quality of life for all residents of the city." The residents in the area are standing by their position on the matter. They concluded their release by stating that they are committed to working collaboratively with the City Council, Lands Department, and other stakeholders. Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.